How you doing, guys? Yesterday I was out here and I finally got all this tool zeroing thing all set up and working the way I think that it should work, except for a couple of little things like it keeps asking me to put the dust boot back on. I don't have one of those things, so I got to get rid of that line in the macro. But other than that, it worked fine. I didn't have any problem with it. It makes it the process of machining a part really efficient because I don't have to change the tool out and then get all get the thing back at zero, put the plate on the surface and do all that nonsense. All I got to do is wait for the spindle to turn off, change the tool, and just go on. And if it wasn't for that silly dust boot thing, I wouldn't even have to do much on any of that. I just have to hit cycle started, come over here, touch off that plunger touch plate, and we'd be good to go. It'd just go over there and start cutting the damn piece again. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I was going to do this whole thing. This is going to be a box that we're going to bring to Guatemala with us when we go down to build the house. I've been coerced into going with my wife and the rest of the people from the church, so that's going to be coming up in another month. And we're going to bring this box, and this box is going to have the keys to their house inside of it, and that's how they will be presented to them. It was just one of my little contributions I've been doing for a few years, and I think it's kind of nice, and I'm sure they like getting a little gift. I mean, it's not much, but it's something they can keep little keepsakes in, maybe the woman in a family can put their earrings or whatever, or if they even have any earrings, into the box, but they can save stuff in there. So what this says here, it says this is, this cross stands for faith. This little, looks like an EKG thing here, that stands for hope, and the heart stands for, guess what, love. So that's a 1 Corinthians 13:13. If you go look in your Bible, you'll see it in there. So without further yapping about this, I'm going to push the button and hopefully everything is going to go fine. So let me get this camera in place where people can see what's going on over there. I think, yeah, that looks all right. And I'm going to push the button. There goes the spindle. It's just making a chamfer around the top edge of the box and the bottom, because they do the bottom and the top at the same time. So that wasn't much of a show, but that's what it is. So now I got to change this out to a drill bit so I can drill do the next thing. So you can see that this is pretty easy to do. You notice my wrenches are massive. It's just what I have. It works. Let's see. That's not a drill bit. I need to get a drill bit out of the drawer here. Thought I had everything ready to go, but I guess I didn't. It doesn't make any difference. It don't matter that much. We're either gonna watch the video or not, and probably most people will get bored right at this point and turn it off, but whatever. If it's not meant for you, it's not meant for you, and it doesn't matter. So okay, we got that in there. Now what the machine, what the computer's telling me is to change to tool 3. I think that's tool 2, but it don't matter. And when I push the cycle start, make sure my little touch probe is still in the right place, because I haven't screwed that down yet. And it's going to come down and touch that off, and it's going to come down really slow. And do it again. And it's going back to the middle. now it's telling me to put the dust boot back. As I said, since I don't have a dust boot, I can't do that. So I'm going to adjust the camera a little bit, and I'm going to push start, and we're going to see what happens. It's going to be not much. There we go. See? Told you. Wasn't much. So, the reason for them two holes is because this is a double-sided part. And now I have to take this up off the table. I have to tape it. And I have to put some dowels in those two holes and line them up with the holes that it just drilled into the spoil board. And this time I have to put tape on there because these boxes are going to get cut free. And even though this is going to be held down here and here, the boxes, if I don't tape underneath with super glue, they're going to be free to do whatever they want. And we don't want them going anywhere, because that usually makes a big mess, big gouge out of the side of the box. Ask me how I know. Anyways, I'm going to come right back and we're going to show you that. Okay, so we're back. I got my two holes. I used router bits with 1/4 inch shanks, put in them in holes, lined them up with the ones that I drilled in the top, and now we're going to re-zero the Z height, because I took the piece of wood off and I would like to do that. Make sure everything's clean. Put that right there. We're already at Z. Yeah, we're already at X and Y zero. So we should, hopefully, this works the way it's supposed to. Okay, now we got to that. Now it's telling me to change the tool number 1, which I've already done. And now I'm going to click the tool, or the 1, and I'm going to hit number 1 to use the touch plate, and then save that as the offset. So I've done that. Now I'm going to hit cycle start right after I jog this thing down a little bit, because that's a long way to travel at a slow speed. So, which is another thing I got to work on. I'm going to figure out how to drop that thing down closer to the part without me having to do it every time. And now I hit cycle start, and off we go. I think you can see that that's dropping down. It's going to touch off, and then it's going to go back down slowly. I used to put my hand near there to hold that plate so I'm sure it was flat on the board. I don't know if that's altogether necessary. Now we get this plate out of the way, and we're going to come back over here, hit cycle start, and now we're going to hit this plate over here. That was the fast one. Now we're going to go slow. Didn't change. So interesting enough, I forgot to change the toolpath. So I have to stop all this and go back in and reload a different toolpath, because we're not doing the same one on both sides. Cycle start. We're going to make some chips. Come on, camera. You're a little on the cockeyed side, but I don't care. It don't matter. If it's too cockeyed, just tilt your head when you're watching. Okay, now it wants me to put dust boot. Don't have that. And there it goes. Start. So what that's going to do is just going to clean out the inside of the box. This takes a few minutes, so I'll probably speed through it when I edit the video. Okay. Now we have to change the tool bit again. I'm gonna come back later. Okay, here we go again. I've got the 60-degree V-bit in there. That's gonna go in the bottom of this box, I hope in the right place. And it's gonna carve some stuff inside of here. So it's gonna move over here and touch off my tool. Touch off tool. Here we go. Why? Oh, it's not gonna go. So now we should be set to get cutting. Aim that thing a little better. That's I'm gonna put my dust boot back on that I don't have. Yeah, that's done. Ooh, that's close to the edge. That's really close to the edge. you can't even see it, but when I first started doing that bit was really close to the edge. Oh well, it is what it is. I have no idea what this says. It's in Spanish, I believe. It's actually in the bottom of the box, I think. Maybe it's in the top. I think it's in the top. Yeah, it's in the top. It's a little added thing that somebody decided they wanted to do. Not me. But now once I get this done, I have to change the tool back to that bit I just took out. The light in here is really bad because my spindle light died for some reason. I'm not even sure why. Maybe I can shine a little light on there. You can see a little bit better. There we go. So it's writing stuff in there. So the next step on this machine is to get rid of some of this plywood, especially the gantry there. The whole gantry's made of plywood. It's only one layer thick, and it's a little wobbly. It's not terribly bad, but you can see down there in the bottom of that, probably, I think you can probably see the little round marks where it changed directions. Every time it changes directions, it does that. The bit digs into the material a little bit. If you're cutting on brass or aluminum, it's even worse. So that's just something I'm gonna have to sand out because you can't leave that like that. Well, I could. I couldn't leave it like that. The only nobody that knows about it is me. Oh yeah, this is a video. Sorry. I guess you would know too. Getting closer to that edge. It's going to go right up to it. Oh, how close that was. It's called flashlight lighting. Seems to be working okay. I got lights inside of this little black cover here. Inside of here I got LEDs in there, and they're daylight bulbs. Well, they're not bulbs, they're LEDs. in the thing and zero it out, just like we did before. I'm gonna leave you on because I don't feel like monkeying around here. Set you up a little bit better. There we go. Let's get this tool bit out of here. So the screen is telling me to change to tool 4, which seems like a simple thing to do, I guess. At least it is now with this whole tool changing business. Now, if I had a tool changer, that'd be great, but I can't justify spending all that money for the required spindle and all the tool holders to do that, because this is just a hobby machine. We're not going to go crazy with that. So okay, after that, and I got the stupid strap on the thing hitting. There we go. There's one. Caught the strap on the edge of the drawer while I'm holding the camera. So now we're going to finish cutting this piece out after I put the dust boot back on. There it is. It's on. It's cutting that same spot that's already cut. Typically it doesn't do that. I'm gonna have to check the G code. That seems like it's just going around and around. That one. Yep. It went all the way through. Now it's going to cut this I always like to hold that thing down, even though I got tape under there. I don't use them, whatever they call them, nibs, knobs, whatever the hell they call them. I don't know what they call them. They're supposed to hold the part in place while you're cutting, and it keeps them from moving around at the end of the cut. I don't use them. I don't even remember what they call them, but I don't use them. I just get a big thing like that, keeps my fingers away from the machine. I just stick it right down in there, and that holds it just fine. Anyway, that seems to be the end of that job, other than taking that off of there and cleaning up all the fuzzies, because that's white oak, and you know, I don't know, white oak is pretty tough. It shreds. It leaves a lot of mess. So I'm just going to move this gantry back out of the way so I don't cut my hand open on that bit, and take that off the board. Okay. And then we'll look at it. We'll see what it looks like. Let's see. Give you a little tilt. So in order to get that off the board, I gotta have a phone call for some reason. Nope, not. Somebody decided they weren't gonna talk to me. In order to get that off the board, I use this thing. Big chisel. And I just get underneath of it. Oh, let's take the clamps loose first. That'll help. We'll take the clamps loose, and the outside piece is probably just about, you know, there's not much tape on that one, so that goes in the trash. And then you got to be more careful with these things. I didn't put the tape all the way to the back, so it didn't, it wasn't so hard to take it off. But this one's being a pain in the butt, so I'm gonna have to go underneath the tape and just pry it a little bit, and then it comes right off. And the tape comes right off. Sometimes if the super glue gets through the side of the tape, it leaves a mess on the back. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna shut that motor off up there. And I'm gonna get my little chisel. That spot where that blue tape is, it's gonna be gone. And then I'm just gonna sit here, and you can see this is really fuzzy. I mean, maybe if I used a compression bit, it wouldn't do that, but I don't know. It's not a big deal. I just sand on it a little bit and it's done. So that's what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to sand on it, and then I'm going to see if it fits together. And I don't know if you want to watch me sanding this or not, and I don't know if you're gonna, because I'm probably going to edit it out. I just don't see any need to turn the camera off at this point. I mean, just leave it on. That's what they make video editors for. So, but if I do leave it in there, at least you got to be able to see it. I just want to show you that it doesn't take a whole lot of effort to get rid of all those little fuzzies. This is 220, in case you're wondering. I know some people get all kind of persnickety if they don't know exactly what's going on. So I did a video on a compass, filling a compass, a Ritchie compass for a boat once, and I had no idea how to do it. And you'll notice I tell stories a lot. I had no idea how to do it, so I went online, like everybody else does, or should do. And this was before AI, so I couldn't ask AI. So I went on YouTube, and I typed in my little query: how do you refill a Ritchie compass, and how do you do this, and there was a bunch of videos on YouTube about it. And I soon came to realize that these videos really sucked. I shouldn't say that, but they were not good. Put it that way. They were not good videos. There was one guy. I'm not going to mention any names. I don't even remember what his name was, but he had his compass sitting on a. I don't know if it was on a bowl or if it was on a towel on a table, and he had a turkey baster. And he was trying to use a turkey baster to fill his compass up. Well, first off, you could put most of the oil or the fluid, it's not really, it's some kind of oil, but I don't know what it is. But you could put most of it in if you just don't put the dome on the top. You just put the little fill screw on the side, and then you just pour the stuff right out of the bottle right into the compass until it gets up to near the top. And then you just put the you put the dome on the top. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go on my channel and see it. It's on there. Maybe I'll leave a link to it in the bottom, in case any of you guys own boats. with leaky compasses. Anyways, the guy's trying to use a turkey baster, and he had like, I think the screw in the side of that thing is like maybe an 8 or a 1032 screw, and he was using a turkey baster. Now, anybody that's ever seen a turkey baster knows the end of those things is usually like a 1/4 of an inch, maybe slightly smaller, depending on the brand, but, you know, he was pouring that shit all over the place. He was making such a mess. It was like unbelievable. And he wasn't the only guy. I mean, there was others that did it other ways, and, you know, some of the other ways were a little bit better, but that guy, he was the worst one. So I watched all these videos, and I saw these guys, you know, giving you all this advice. Oh, you got to put the compass in the freezer because that makes the air bubbles go away. I just had no idea. Why in the hell would you think that would happen? Well, I can tell you it won't. But it was like, guy was like, well, you put it in the refrigerator in the freezer overnight, and you get up the next morning, you'll see if you have any air left in there. It's like, yeah, well, if you leave it outside anywhere, I don't care. It don't have to be in the freezer. If there's an air bubble in there and you move that thing around enough, it's going to come to the top. And it's going to be sitting right at the top of that dome where you're looking at it all the time, reminding you of how lousy a job you did filling your compass. So what I did was I said, well, I got to get the stuff to fix it. So there's the bottom of a Ritchie compass. There's a rubber diaphragm. And the reason that's there is because, you know, when fluids heat up, they expand. And, you know, where's the compass? Out in the sun. Sometimes. Sometimes it's out in the cold. So you need something to, you know, allow that expansion and contraction of the fluid inside the compass. Otherwise, the thing would either, you know, probably leak somewhere or break the dome or something. It'd build up quite a bit of pressure because, you know, like when your water pipes freeze in your house, you say, oh, my water pipe froze in the house. Now, now I got to fix the pipe. Well, it's the same thing. If you had some sort of a place where that ice could go in your water pipe, you know, you didn't have to worry about it freezing so much. But anyway, getting back to the story, instead of doing all that stuff with the turkey baster and all the different various ways, I mean, people were taking straws and bending the end of the straw and sticking it in the hole. It's like, you'd be there for hours. So what I did was I went to the pharmacy. I got a dosing thermometer. I don't know if you know what those are. They're little syringes about this big. They only hold about, I don't even know how much they hold. They hold a little bit, you know. And I pulled the plunger out, and I just took the end of it where normally you'd stick it in the bottle to extract the whatever medicine you're taking, and you know, you fill it up until it's to the mark you need, and then you just stick it in your mouth and just squirt it in there. Well, some people will squirt it in a spoon. They won't, but whatever. So, oh, sin. Ah, sawdust. I hate sawdust. That's why I'm a woodworker. So, anyway, I got one of them dosing thermometers, and I just tried to get it into the hole where the screw was. It wouldn't go in, so I got a piece of this stuff, and I just stuck this stuff on the end of that thing, and I just twirled it around a few times, and lo and behold, that took enough plastic off the end of that thing, so I stuck it in the hole. It got started, and I screwed it right in there tight. And then I pulled the plunger out, and of course I had filled up the compass with the fluid before I did all of this, and forgot to put the screw in, the fill screw, which was on the side, way at the top, but it's on the side, and I filled the compass right up to the top. And as I'm filling it, I'm saying, why is this stuff going on the table? Oh, you stupid idiot, you didn't put the damn screw in there. So I stopped, I put the screw in there, I filled it all the way up to the top, and then I put the dome on with the little O-ring, and I got that, I put that little syringe in the side, and and then I said, well, time to see if this box fits together. Look at that. Nice. Comes right apart. Now when this gets to Guatemala, you know it's humid in Guatemala, it's going to swell. But it's been my experience that most of the boxes that have gone down there, they swell an equal amount because this is a, you know, pretty uniform thickness of wood all the way around, so they don't usually do that. The problem is if I bring this in the house, in a couple of days I'll go like this and the thing will fall apart. But I mean, I think I left about 2/1000ths of an inch clearance between those two joints. So there we have it. That's my little box. It's gonna, I get to put the keys in it, and it's gonna be presented to the new owner of the house down there. And way down in the corner it says 1 Corinthians 13:13. Believe it or not, I should make that bigger because you can hardly see it. Anyway, that's not what this was about. This was all about that thing right there and that thing right there. And if anybody's watching this and has this, they know exactly what this is. CNC 12, and I got the new Acorn board over there in the box that I put in, I'm going to say about a month ago, and finally got around to getting this thing finished up. And I had a lot of trouble with the, you know, the way that I was going to zero the tools out, because I wanted to put an automatic tool changer, but I couldn't justify it. So I ended up with this little guy right here, which the first time that I ran a tool over the top of this and it started going down, it didn't stop and pushed this little plunger right down inside. So now I got a phone call, so I'm gonna let you go. Bye. Who the hell wants me now?